So hey guys, Mike Wilson here. Thanks for jumping in today's workshop. We are going to be discussing um, HubSpot. We're going to be talking specifically about deal tags in HubSpot. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes and make sure that everyone gets in that's going to be joining us today. And then we will go from there. So I hope you guys are excited about this and excited to learn and see what's possible with these deal tags. And hopefully we'll be able to uh, get something that's actionable for you today that you can implement. So if you're on a sales team or even service team, so this is also something that'll work with tickets, which we'll get into a little bit as well in just a little bit here. So just want to make sure everybody gets in. Give me 1 second. All right. What I'm going to do is I have up today a sandbox account, which we'll be working through to show a little bit of these features that we will bring up in just a second. All right, let's go ahead and kick it off and jump into this. These are our first workshop here in the new community, and we're really hoping that these workshops can bring some value to professionals around the world that are looking to optimize their HubSpot platform or their processes and enable their teams. So these workshops will be on different types of topics and things like that that we will be going through um, throughout the process of discovering these workshops and what's important to people. As you will notice, this is a workshop unlike our events where you actually have an opportunity to actually engage with us and talk with us and ask your questions as we start to go through this. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Hey, Samantha, nice seeing you in.
Hello, sorry I was late.
Oh, no worries. All right, let me share my screen here and let me know if you can see that on your side.
Yes, all is good.
So Samantha is one of our relationship managers here at Processology. So you guys may see her in the community or bouncing around different social medias, or if you decide to book a call and learn about our services, chances are you will either talk to myself or Samantha. Awesome. So in terms of the deal tags, what these are is they're a way to understand um, different things about your deal in terms of the tag could be, for example, I'll give you a key example. One we will try to build here today is I may want to understand all the deals in my pipeline. I may want to understand things like which deals are large deals, which deals are most important, which deals are stalled or at risk. And I want to do this based on HubSpot data. And so what's pretty cool is that we can build these rules that will apply tags to deals. So as we see, we're in the Kanban board here, and we will be able to see, let's imagine we have, 50, 60 deals sitting in here. We could easily be able to understand which deals need our attention the quickest. And you can get real creative with these deal tags and do them in ways that benefit your workflow, right? So again, you can do them based on priority. You can do them based on like maybe last time reached out, things like that. The thing I will point out that I mentioned a little bit earlier is that this also does work in service under your ticket boards as well. So you can also do things like, late or, stalled or something like that to make sure that you're moving tickets forward effectively as well. So let's jump in and see what this looks like. So in order to get to this, the easiest way is going to be to click on board actions. So make sure that you're in board view here. Click on board actions, and we're going to just go down to edit stages. And in the stages, you're going to find this area that's called deal tags. So this is where we'll be able to set our deal tags up. We can also filter this by what different pipelines that we may want to work with. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and stick with this primary pipeline. And let's go ahead and look at different tags. So the cool thing is that you do have some presets in here, which is pretty cool. So if you want to utilize a preset, you can select one of those. If you want to look at urgency, you can do that today because I want to make sure that you guys get as much value of this as possible. We're going to look at building these from scratch. So let's go ahead and click on create a new tag. So we're going to add a tag and we're going to call it, let's just call it high value deal. You can give it a description, which I highly recommend. I won't do that in this demo, but I highly recommend giving it one. And then you can pick a color. So I'm just going to go with green in this, and I'm going to make it for all pipelines. But again, you can do it for specific pipelines if you like. All right, so here's where we can build our filter. So our filters are going to be like almost anything else in HubSpot, right? If you're building a list in HubSpot, or you are building a view in HubSpot, or you're trying to filter down to see a certain audience of individuals or records, you're going to use these filters. Same thing in workflows as well to target a certain audience. So in here, what I want to do is I want to look at deal amount in this case. And I'm going to say that the deal amount is greater than or equal to, and I'm just going to say that it's greater than or equal to, let's say $2,500. That's not, very high, but let's roll with it. So now I can either accept that and send that off and that tag will start working. Or I can get in a little bit more specific and I can say that it is maybe a high value deal that is a new customer, a new deal. So I could also add in additional features and stack these filters to get to the right deal. So for example, I may want to put something like deal type. For example, and I can say that this deal type is new business only, and I can apply that as well. So now this is going to apply to deals that have a value of 2,500 or more, and the deal type is new business. And this is going to allow me to know, hey, this is a new customer. Let me go ahead and jump on them. Or maybe that it's an existing customer. Maybe you want that to show first because it's much easier to close a customer, someone that's already a customer, than someone that's new. So let's go ahead and save that. And now we have our deal tag there. Let's make a couple more of these. Let's say that we want to create one for the deal. We'll just use a template here. Basically, this is saying overdue. The close date is more than 1 day ago, meaning the close date has passed, and this deal has yet to be closed. So with that, it's going to make it red, and it's going to be called overdue. Let's go ahead and apply that. It's already built out the filter for us, so this is a super easy one to add in there. And the nice thing is that a deal can have multiple tags. So let's jump back into our sales pipeline and see what we have here. So we can see that our deal tag now shows overdue. Now, we don't have the high value tag because, as you can see, is our deal amount's only $1, but we'll update that in a minute. But we can say it's overdue because this deal should have been closed last month in July, and we are more than 1 day past. Therefore, it's showing me the overdue status. Now, what's cool about this is that I can actually filter based on these deal tags. So I can use a filter, and let's just say we type in deal tags, and I can say, hey, I only want to see deals of any deal that is overdue or any deal that is high value, and I can create a view of my deals based on show me all overdue deals, right? That is a pretty cool feature to quickly prioritize which deals need attention and which deals do not need attention. As you saw, there was also one for like last activity. That's also another great one. Now, there are some limitations as of today. Hopefully this will get changed when it comes to these deal tags. For example, you cannot do a tag based on the stage that it is in. So, for example, I cannot do a tag based on a customer being in a won or lost position. So I can't say only show this tag if a customer is not in a won or not in a lost position. So when it comes to things like reporting, I think that's an area that can be improved just because it's going to show you all of your stages in that pipeline instead of being able to filter down to say, I only want to see deals that are open, get these tags. So that's just kind of a little heads up. But watch out if you create reporting around these deal tags, that is possible. And there are use cases where it's valuable, but it is going to show all deals in your pipeline. Okay, let's go ahead and update our deal. So we're going to jump into our deal here. And what I want to update is just going to be the deal amounts is what I plan to work on. So let me go in here and let's update our amount to, let's just say $3,000, which should be good to go. And then I'm going to jump back down to our sales pipeline. And so what will happen is now we see our deal is $3,000. These deal tags can take a few minutes to actually populate the deal tag. So you may have to refresh a couple times to start to see this deal tag. You know what? Actually, let's jump back in here because we also have to change the deal type to make sure it's new business because that was part of our criteria. So let's jump back there and see. Maybe it'll do it pretty fast for us. Let's see. No, it's going to take a couple of minutes. So let's go ahead and refresh a couple times and see if our deal tag comes through. So I'm not exactly sure how often HubSpot like runs this filter. It could take 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, who knows, right? But the goal is that it will get updated and you will see the information pop up on the particular deal. Now, I will hit on this. HubSpot added this cool little view here recently that allows you to see the health and what's going on in your pipeline. So that's pretty cool there in terms of understanding like what the health of your pipeline is and things like that. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and do this and give this another refresh here. There we go. So now we have our deal tag and we have our high value deal and we have our overdue. Now, what I want to talk specifically about is some other use cases that this can be really cool on. So there's a lot of research out there that says things like a deal that has more than one contact associated with it, right? Where you're talking to multiple contacts at a company about a particular opportunity. So you can actually create a tag for deals that have multiple contacts versus deals that don't have multiple contacts. You can create a priority of being very high if it has a certain deal amount, plus it has, let's say, 2 or more contacts and the deal amount is over a certain amount. These are things that you would want to consider when building your tags. Like, does that make the most sense for your organization, right? But the goal behind these tags is they allow you from the board view or from your list view, if you have it in your list here, so you can see we have deal tags here, to quickly understand where a deal is sitting. And one of the nice things because it's automated, as your team is updating properties and as properties are being updated in the background, like around close dates and things like that, these deal tags will dynamically remove and add to those deals, allowing you to see what's happening without having to either go to a reporting dashboard or without your team having to actually go and add the overdue tag or add the high value tag. So this becomes extremely powerful, especially for those managers that are trying to get a view at their pipeline and see what's happening by filtering and saying, hey, let me see all overdue deals. Let me message my sales reps to figure out what is going on. Why are these overdue, right? What can we do to speed them up? Again, if you look at your reporting and your insights and you see, hey, once a deal is past, let's say the 60-day mark, that the chances of it closing drops dramatically. Maybe once a deal gets to, let's say, the creation date was more than 45 days ago. Now we want to add a tag that says at risk, right? And now we can see that this deal is at risk of going behind. The nice thing is as you hover over these deals, I believe you can get some insights into, let me see here. I believe that they are, there we go. So as you hover the deal, I didn't add a value to the other one. That's why it wasn't showing up. So, but if you add that description and you hover over it, this is going to allow you to know, or allow your team to dynamically be able to or actively be able to see what do these tags actually mean, what's actually bringing these tags up inside of your workflows. So it's really good to get a little bit granular in terms of your team understanding, hey, what's triggering this tag to be on here, so they can go figure out how to work this particular deal quickly without having to go to someone to understand what this tag means. So that's why I said don't do what I did and not put a description. Make sure that you put a description so that your team can be enabled through these communication methods by having these pop-ups to explain what they are. So we've talked a little bit about deal tags. We've talked about some ways that they can be important. I'm curious to know, Samantha, maybe you have a question about these deal tags because I don't even know if you've been extremely familiar with these. You've probably seen them popping up, but because I know this is something that we utilize ourselves.
I think that what you've gone over has been extremely helpful and giving me a little bit more insight on it. Like I said, yeah, some of the things pop up, but I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. But yeah, this has been extremely helpful.
Yeah, so it's definitely a great tool to utilize, and it really makes a positive impact when you have a lot of deals in here, right? If you got 4 people, 3 people, 2 people that are really driving deals into the pipeline, and let's say you got 50 deals here, trying to figure out which 50 to go after is not that it's very difficult, but it can be time consuming because now I have to go into the deal to figure out where it's at, right? Because I can only put so much on the card. So these deal tags allow me to get a little bit more context of the health of a deal, of the position of a deal, the value of a deal, right? These different things at a glance. And because it allows me to filter that down, I can even quickly make decisions on who do I need to, mentor today or coach today on my sales team based on the health of their records, right? So that is also really cool because I can go and let me see overdue tags and then also filter by deal owner to understand each deal owner and where they're at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I did have a question.
Okay.
Unless I missed it, is there a way to create a task within the deals?
Based on the deal status?
Yeah, like if I'm in here and I'm looking at something and I'm like, hey, I want to create a task for myself for tomorrow to do X, Y, and Z with this deal. Can I create a task from this page?
Oh, from this page. So you can select this here,
Here we go.
deal, and then create a task.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep. So one of the cool things too is that, and I wasn't planning on getting into this inside of this particular call, but let's just go and look at it, right? That's the fun thing about these workshops is that we can go where we need to go, right? So if we were to jump into a workflow and let's just build from scratch, we can click on our deal workflow. And I'm going to go from blank. So this is just, you had me think of something, Samantha, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of show this, is that in your triggers, you can, let's get rid of that. So in my triggers, I can do something like when something occurs or when something filters. So as you can see, this is something new. So when an event occurs, so like somebody fills out a form on a contact page, or when filter criteria is met. So for example, somebody is in X city and the job is X. So let's go ahead and say, I'm just going to go with the filter. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to look at my deals and I want to go with deal tag as my option. And I want to say whenever anyone gets a tag overdue, and remember this has been added automatically through our logic, then that is going to trigger my workflow. So now that that workflow is triggered, now I can come in and I want to create a new task for the owner. You have a deal overdue. So I can create this task that's going to be a to-do for my rep, and I want it to set it immediately, and I want it to, let's say that we send a reminder out. We'll delay like 1 day and send that out, and we want these to go. We're typically only open Monday through Friday, so I'm going to also say weekends. Now I can also put a note in here for this person as well. And I want the task to be assigned to the existing deal owner. And I want the priority to be, let's just say medium on this particular thing. And I can also add it to a task queue if I want as well. But for the sake of this, I'm going to leave it there and save it. So now what it's going to say is anytime a deal moves into, or anytime a deal gets the tag overdue, it is going to create a task for the deal owner saying, hey, you have a task overdue, do something with this, right? And you can give very specific instructions based on your processes and how you guys work internally. But the point that I wanted to make here is that not only can you get visibility into the health or position of your deals using deal tags, but you can also start to automate using deal tags like other fields and properties. So this becomes extremely, extremely powerful because maybe what you want to automate is whenever there's a deal that gets a tag called high value customer, because that deal has, let's say, two contacts, it's over a certain amount of revenue, and it's let's say it's a new customer. Maybe you have a certain rep that you want to be reassigned to, or maybe you just want that rep to be a collaborator on that deal, so that you have two people working it. Maybe if you're a company like, let's say, like us, where a lot of times the type of projects that we do can be transformational style projects and have some complexity to them, and so we may want to bring either a process strategist in on those consideration calls, or we may want to bring in a actual developer onto those calls, and so we can actually automate when to assign someone to that based on the tags. Now, can you do this with workflows? Yes. But is it easier to build it this way and a more simple process to build it this way? Yes. One, I get visibility on my pipeline through my tag. And two, I'm able to automate off of that tag in order to make sure the right people are on the deal at the right time, so that we can try to position ourselves as the best option for the customer. So hopefully that shows some value, and hopefully your mind is spinning with ideas. If anyone has any other questions, I would love to answer them.
I think I'm good right now.
Okay, awesome.
That's a neat feature to have.
Yeah, the automation stuff is powerful, and that's really the power behind HubSpot. You know, a lot of times when we're talking with clients or we're explaining process and systems and the power behind these things, I like to use the analogy of Legos. It's like HubSpot is like a dream system from those companies in terms of user experience, its capabilities, and it's one of the only systems where you can seamlessly utilize CRM data to improve not only the user experience of your team, but also the user experience of your customer or potential customer. And so I always talk to, like, most technology out there will position themselves as the end all be all solution. But when you get it and you purchase it, it's like getting a box of Legos that you now have to put together yourself. And this is where process comes in, right? Because processes are the instructions on how to build something, or the instructions on how to operate something. So when you think about something like HubSpot, we want to make sure that we're implementing the processes to get us what it is that we need to be effective at what we do. So implementing something like deal tags is a process that you're able to implement to help you understand your deals and push your deals further down the pipeline, and be able to know which deals to pay attention to and what deals are healthy and going just fine. So there may be, you know, a tag that you want to add to this, like, that is healthy, right? Maybe you want to have like a blue or gray tag that just says healthy, so it doesn't take up too much of your mental capacity when they pop up, because you don't want it to be distracting. But you want any that's healthy to show healthy, any that's not healthy to show unhealthy. You can build that using deal tags, using different criteria based on, like, when was the last activity? Was it more than 7 days ago? More than 10 days ago? Maybe that triggers the unhealthy tag. So the other thing I will show, let's jump back over into our tag settings, and let's look at, let's just take the one we had of the high value deal. So in here, we're able to edit, right? So one of the nice things is that we also can create the groups of criteria. So a high value tag could get added if this is true, or we can create a different criteria that is true. So maybe if we want to say get high value, if it's a existing business, but instead of 2,500, the amount is, you know, less or higher, whatever it might be, right? Maybe we want to go less because those deals just close so easy, so fast because we already have a relationship and rapport. Maybe we want to go ahead and just get those processed as fast as possible. So those are also some different things that you can utilize to even strengthen these even more. Um, let's look at some of the other things that we have here. So we can also do things based on different, like we see like deal value, I mean deal revenue, we can see deal activity. So deal is one, we can add certain tags, who the deal owner is, or a deal information like close date, owners. We can do things based on like loss reasons, one reasons. So we can almost like add a tag based on almost anything we can imagine, right? So it is, like I said, there are a couple of things, at least the last time I looked, that were not there. But let's for the fun of it, let's see. Yeah, they didn't have it there, so they don't have it there. So um, that one you just saw was actually a custom one that we added ourselves, which is to help track. You might have saw it pop up last deal stage. It's to track when a deal is lost. What stage was it lost in? And this just helps us understand in our pipeline. We might find that there are deals, a lot of deals being lost in a certain stage. And if that is the case and that is true, then that lets us know that that's the first place we need to go when we start to thinking about how do we improve our sales process. Hey, let's go and see where we're losing the most deals, and let's fix that stage first and see what happens. So we built some custom stuff in to track things like that. Um, yeah, I think that's it, guys, on the deal stages of what I can think about. Like I said, there's a lot of options in here. The really valuable ones are going to be priority, going to be size, it's going to be health, and things like that that are really going to help you see what's here. Maybe you want to do a tag if there is no deal owner. Maybe you're creating deals automatically without assigning a deal owner. Maybe you want to have a tag that's red that says no deal owner, or yellow or something like that. So these are all things that um, you now have the capability of doing with these tags. And the goal of these tags is at a glance, right? I can quickly see at a glance, hey, do I see any red? Yep, I need to pay attention to that. Do I need to see any green? Yep, that's good to go. So you want to think about your colors and how they are going to, I like to get into the psychology of things and start to think through how do these colors make people feel. Red is typically associated with overdue, bad, right? Not good, right? So you want to pick your colors based on that. So when I see red, that says attention, pay attention, right? When I see yellow, for me, that says, hey, warning, hey, this might be an at risk, or you might want to do at risk at red or something like that. That lets me know, hey, there's something here you should pay attention to, right? We kind of use them like stoplights, right? Green means good to go, yellow means hey, caution, and red means stop. There's a problem, right? So think about things like that. Grays might be something that you want to track in a deal tag, but that's not as important for you to pay attention to. For example, like I mentioned, that the gray might be your healthy deals, right? You don't need to really do anything with those. Your team's already working them. Everything's good. You don't need to mess with those. Your criteria might be something like last time contacted. It might be that it's only been a certain amount of. Maybe you have another criteria that's it's only been 7 days since the deal was created, so I don't need to stress this one because I know our average deal is typically open for about 30 days, let's say. So things like that, you can work into the logic to make sure that you are creating processes um, into this logic that makes the most sense for you and your team. Um, so yeah, so hopefully you enjoy it. I do want to before I let you guys go, because we're going to cut this a little short. We had an hour today, but since it's just me and Samantha in this particular training, I will cut it a little bit short. But before I do that, I do want to hit on one thing, and that is going to be tickets. So if you're in your tickets, it is going to work very similar. I don't have any in here, so let's go ahead and just create a sample ticket really quick. We're going to call this test. We'll put it to me, and let's just go ahead and create the sample ticket. All right, so now we have our sample ticket, our test ticket, and we can come in here same way, action, deals, customize tags, and we can now also create these tags for ticketing. Why is this important for ticketing? Well, a lot of the same reasons is important for sales. What it's going to allow you to do is add tags. For example, if you have, if part of your process is to, let's say, answer tickets within, once a ticket goes past 24 hours, you may want to add a tag that says overdue, or late or something like that. Once a ticket is, let's say, contacted, let's say you've already reached out to the customer at least once, and maybe there's a certain level to it that you want to put, or maybe there's a certain type. Maybe the ticket is a if you're not using multiple pipelines, maybe you have one for billing and maybe you have one for different things, and you can filter those tickets out using things like the type. So also maybe you want to filter based on the client. So maybe you want to um, look at, and let's actually look at the logic there, because before I even say what I'm going to say, I want to make sure it's possible myself, because logically it makes sense, but it may not actually be possible to build. So let's check it out. So um, let's just say high value for now, for lack of better words at the moment. And I'm gonna go ahead and make these purple. And what I want to look at is my capabilities here. So what you might want to look at, and I was trying to see if it's possible, it maybe not be possible at the moment, but I'm sure it'll be something that's coming at some point. But I wanted to see if it would be possible to look at building a filter based on a different module's information. And as of right now, as we can see, that is not possible today. But HubSpot is really good at bringing features like that to the table, so I think that we'll see it sooner than later, most likely. But basically, uh, what I was trying to get around to was the logic of saying, like, can we prioritize a ticket based on the company that it is associated with? So, for example, if I have a company that is, let's say, a high value customer, meaning they've invested a certain amount of money with us or they've been a contact over a certain amount of years, I want to make sure that we maintain that prompt, quick response. So maybe I prioritize those tickets higher than some other tickets, right? And maybe that's not your process, maybe it is. But the goal is that you can, well, obviously we can't because of the abilities here, but if the abilities were there, we could build a tag that will say something along the lines of like, hey, pay attention to this ticket because this is someone that's currently an existing customer and we want to make sure they get prioritized as fast as possible. So you can build tickets for, tags for a lot of things. So that's also going to be in your ticketing. So I'll leave it at that. It works the exact same way as sales. It's just the criteria is maybe a little different. And you can also automate it. Samantha, did you have any questions?
I think I'm good.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end it there. Hopefully, if you're watching this at a later time, you find this valuable. You can always jump into the community table and drop a line there, ask questions that you have there if you're watching this at a later date. And we will do our best to answer your questions. Just let us know that you watched this particular workshop and joined in on it. And, ask your questions away, and we'll do what we can to make sure we answer those for you. If at any point that you are looking to implement things like this or see what's possible with your HubSpot system, Processology is a certified HubSpot partner, and we would love to have the opportunity to talk with you about how you can really align your processes and your platforms to help you build your future and create better direction for your teams and platforms. So if that is something you want, make sure to just click on how improve with us or how we help throughout the community, or visit us at processology.net and schedule a call. Samantha and I would love to talk with you and learn about your business. Thanks.
Thank you.